Hey guys, this is Villains Demand. I'm Evan the Great.
I'm Smiley.
Today, Henchmen, we bring you another episode of Monsters Matter.
And what page are we on today, Evan?
Today, we're going to turn to page 100. So once you get your monster manual to 100, you're going to see a fearsome creature known as the White Dragon.
Specifically on page 100, I believe that's the ancient
That is
stat block.
the gargantuan dragon of this type.
Oh, yes.
One thing to remember about the White Dragon, it may be the smallest of the chromatic dragons, but it is not. It's so dangerous. Do not forget that.
It's an interesting position of dragon kind. When you think of fighting a real dragon, you're fighting the young ones.
Yes.
In 5e specifically. It is the lowest CR one. It's usually the first dragon that parties encounter. And people will throw them in places they don't belong because of it.
Yeah. Which I think the youngest one you could go with is a CR6, like a young white dragon, or there's wyverns too.
Yeah, there's wormlings.
Yeah, wormlings. I always say that wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're a CR too, so you can actually
But that's a baby.
You can do a whole dragon campaign
You can easily do it.
if you wanted to do that.
Think about it. You get the adult dragon, it has babies, and it has young.
There you go. Before you know it, you're getting your ass kicked.
All right.
But man, just a white dragon in general, if you're a D&D player or if you're new to this hobby, they have a thing called icy breath. It's a cold breath and it's not fun. The big one, it does 16d8 cold damage on a successful save. You take half. 90-foot cold, bam, just freezing you. I think the smaller ones, they got what? Still a lot. 10d8. That's insane.
I find that breath weapons are more dangerous at lower levels than higher levels.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Because if you think 68, you're only adding 6 more, but your hit points between those two of a CR6 and CR20 is a lot.
That's 16d8.
Yeah.
My wizard's throwing down 40d6.
There you go. So it's throwing. So when you're fighting you're fighting a dragon of this caliber, you're throwing at what? The breath weapon.
If you're fighting a dragon that big, you throw everything you have at
Fright presence. Frightful presence, which is so good that dragons have that. I know you're not a big fan of James. Not a big fan of frightful presence.
Anyone that's on the tail end of it,
Yeah.
that's not proficient in wisdom saves, despises frightful presence.
It does suck for them. But Ancient One's a DC 16 save. I think
wait, did you say it's DC 16?
yeah, wisdom saving throw.
Oh, shit, I thought it was like 22.
So did I. I thought it was a lot higher than that. Maybe the other dragons are higher.
Well, I think it runs off the charisma.
But even like an adult white dragon, which is a CR 13, which is what, a party of 10th level characters maybe, DC 14 wisdom save. That's still kind of high for people that don't focus on wisdom. You're going to be frightened that round.
Have at least one person focus
Yes.
on wisdom, or just bring a paladin.
Yeah. If you know you're going to be in a full-on dragon campaign, somebody needs to bring a paladin.
In general, just as a little kid, you need a frightening condition.
You want to go over some of their other things that you want to talk about? Maybe it could be stats out of the book, or it could be things that you've come across.
The thing I like about the White Dragon is the challenge 6. All right, you can flip through to any dragon. Now you'll see all these different challenge ratings, but just take the CR if you want to run a dragon, okay, and your party is like level 4 or 5. Take the young white dragon, change its color, change the type of breath weapon it is from cold to fire damage. There you go. Don't throw a white dragon in the middle of the Sahara, alright? That's all I ask of all of you. It's not a desert. Technically the tundra is a desert, but that's not my point.
Yes, I was going to tell you.
Yeah.
They can swim, they can fly, and they can burrow.
Burrow, but only through snow and ice.
Yes, which I've used a white dragon.
They can also spider climb.
That's how they fought the party and almost killed them.
Yeah.
I threw a party, I think it was Pathfinder game. I think I threw them up against 2 young white dragons, and they was like 4 10th level characters.
And you used 2 dragons?
Yeah, they're 10th level.
Oh, 10th level, yeah, fuck that.
But still, 10th level, and it was on a snowy surface, and they got to jump on them because they was burrowing underground, and it was great.
Yeah.
So just remember, you can fly, you can burrow, or you can swim.
Yeah.
Or you can run at 40 feet, which all these are different statistics for what they could do.
I like the white dragon because it has so many different ways to get around. It can spider climb on icy surfaces.
Yes.
It can swim through ice instead of like it's water. It can actually swim through ice water, and where it hunts whales.
Oh, on top of
Take advantage of the maneuverability.
Man.
Always.
a mobile creature of this size category is very, very frightening. And if they're big enough, which you got to go into the adult or the ancient, I believe. Yeah, they get their own legendary actions, which is another thing to throw on top of an already frightening creature.
As any legendary creature should have.
Oh man! And then how they got multi-attack.
They get
can
5.
3 attacks. Yeah, they can do 3
One with its
attacks.
bites, 2 with its claws. Oh.
And then on top of that, I think they can use their legendary action.
You use a legendary action at the end of a player's turn.
So yeah, there you go. You can use it at the end of the player's turn, and you can use up to I think 3. Yeah,
3, but when the attack takes 2.
so there you go. You're getting 5 attacks a round, 3 on this turn, 2 on this not turn, and then you open up with the breast weapon, and
That's 6 actually.
whew, that's a lot.
Attacks, yeah.
That is
3
tremendous.
legendary action. But the reason why, because players, you get an action for each player.
Yes.
They give you legendary action so you can play the monster by itself.
Just be very careful throwing one of these up against your party. Make sure that they're ready. Make sure that they have.
Take advantage of its maneuverability. Above all else, when you're fighting a white dragon, they're not smart, but they're hunters.
Yes.
They have hunting instinct. They'll burrow through the ice, the snow, swim through the water where they can't be gotten to, and surprise attack, lurch out, and then go back under. But you can put in hints. If you think your party's gonna have a problem with that, have them start getting hinted at. Like an old warrior, blah 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 blah. It swims through the freaking ice. I couldn't freaking do anything about it. Like drop that in there.
Yes. Make it sound terrifying.
Now, white dragons they're not so aggressive when they're young. They actually get more aggressive the older they get.
Correct, because they get more stubborn, I guess. They don't like to be bothered.
Well, they just grow bitter and cold. Get it?
Yes. They also have their lairs, or of course, they're in icy caves and stuff.
See, I like to see their layers being a frozen valley between 2 peaks, like within a frozen lake.
That would be amazing to run across something like that. I don't want my character to run across that, but if they did. But I noticed something here.
It also makes where they can't get the treasure if we get
Back in the day, I don't know, 8, 9 years ago, we fought. It wasn't a white dragon, but it's something that we were talking about how to make it where your party can fight different dragons when they don't need to do. We fought a dragon that was in this cave, and it could not. It got stuck when it chased us and knew he was in there. It wound up getting his head stuck like in the cave for like a certain amount of rounds, and then eventually it broke the cave down and it got out. But they gave us enough rounds to have like a 6 or 7 round combat with just the head of a dragon. So it just had its bite attack and its breath weapon.
Oh god,
So-
the breath weapon alone.
It was, but it went off first, and then the players were actually able to fight it for a while.
That is a good thing to start to play out the intelligence of, because it's just going to try to rush in. It's not going to think about it.
It was
It would
great.
get its head stuck.
And
Now a red one, I just see it kind of poke its head in and shooting
Yeah.
some fire through there and waiting for you to.
that one was trying to bite us
Yeah.
and run us through a hallway. Legendary DM, which, he did that for us. But I thought it was their bite attack. This is Pathfinder when we did that, or 3.5. I can't remember. But the bite attack on here is pretty gruesome. It's 2d10 plus a d8 piercing damage plus 2d8 cold damage. So you're getting hit with god awful amount of damage.
Mm-hmm.
On average, almost 30. So 30 to 50 damage just from the bite.
Yeah.
It's so terrifying. And some of your members might be running from frightful presence at that time. What else have they got they could do here? Smiley.
Go
I
ahead.
was just checking this about. They have the dragon can make a perception check as well on its legendary actions, like if you're trying to run away or set something up.
If you have a sneak thief,
Yes.
but usually by the time you fight at that's not going to matter, to be honest.
Our characters and one of our games recently fought and defeated a white dragon.
Yes. I remember White Dragon being kill stilled.
It was kill.
Kill
Yeah,
still.
yeah, like you said. But they can be very frightful.
But to be fair, he did give us advantage on like a lot of that
Yeah.
same.
You just gotta know your players. You gotta know what they got. You gotta know what they can do. This thing can end a campaign, especially if they fight one of these. Maybe not like 6th level, but like if you fought a 13th one and they're
Well, they're fairly balanced as like when it comes to higher CRs.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like the challenge thing, I very much just ignore. I see what they can handle and then upgrade it as they get better. But I can see a party of level 14, 15 people killing a CR, a challenge 20 Ancient White Dragon.
yeah, they could. Well, I was looking at more like the mid CRs, like 13. Say your party ran into it when they were 6th level. I don't know if they could take that. They would probably have to run.
9. They can do it. 10. Let's go for
Depends
10.
on when they run into it.
If there's a paladin, easily at 10.
Yeah. Paladins are broken. Paladins against the dragon is broke, but if you're inside their lair, they do have a bit, the legendary actions, plus their,
Now, I use the stats of Young White Dragon
yeah.
in our game, the one I was running before.
Yeah.
I used it for a Black Dragon.
Ah.
And you were level 4.
I was.
Yes.
I did have a.
You notice how I usually drop the level? Like, I usually throw things like 2 challenges higher than the level. Yeah. And that was actually a fight while another fight was going on.
It was a cool fight.
Yeah.
Just for out
That's
of
very
game.
long.
Dwarven Barbarian with the shields. Yeah. He had 20 armor class. But maybe one day we'll talk about that. But White Dragons and all, they're not the biggest, but they are definitely.
They're the most foul-mannered.
Yes.
They
They
won't
are
eat anything smart of themselves.
savage. They love
They
to.
love swimming in frigid water.
They love to hunt down prey that's done something bad to them and got away before.
No, they just love to hunt down prey.
Yes, they like to do that in general, but they really like to hunt the ones
When it
that
comes
try get
to,
them.
if you ever want to add class levels, make the monster harder, this is the barbarian. By nature, it is a barbarian. It's much like the barbarians that roam the lands. They very much act the same. Its actual main food source is aquatic life. So if you put a beached whale in the middle of the tundra, how'd it get here? It's half eaten.
There's so much this nonsense with these white dragon. It's got a bunch of stuff it can do. It's like he said.
I like playing where they value a good hunt or a good fight more than they value their treasure.
I've never thought about how scary if you actually think about this in a whole until you bring all this stuff up. For one, they're very mobile. Like we already talked about in the video, they can do like 4 or 5 different things on the ground, in the sea, in the water. And on top of that, if they're in their plane, which is a snowy plane, they can hide very well. I'm talking about like their homeland, the snow and ice.
I got you.
If they're in their tundra,
If they're anywhere above a mountain.
they are very, very hard, probably to defeat. Because not only do you got to worry about it, you got to worry about the environment. Like if they're on like a icy lake or something like
Put them
that.
in the lake.
Whoo! You're talking about sinking ship under the ice to try to fight this thing.
See, this thing about this, you're walking across a frozen lake. You see a shadow pass. You see the shadow come past you. You look up to see where it came from, and then the ice starts to crack.
Because it's underneath.
Yes.
Da-na-na.
And it's good. If you're going into its lair, give it kobolds, give it remoras, give it fucking winter wolves. They don't get enough exposure. Winter wolves.
Now, to my favorite part of these Monster Matter videos, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but now we're going to go into detail. Encounter time. When and how do you push this at your characters? You kind of got your opening there with the ice and it coming up. So you want it to be like a 3 or 4 session thing where they're getting into the lair, fight kobolds, fight wolves.
I would make the lair, like I said before, a frozen lake within specifically the entire lair will be a valley between 2 mountains. The entire thing's frozen over by the exposure to the creature. It itself slumbers at the bottom of a lake, like a little cavern at the bottom of the lake with all its treasure. So the players can't really get the treasure unless they try ahead of time to get ready for it. But they have to fight their way into the valley through things that worship it, or maybe frost giants that serve it. But when they get there, the light glistens, but a frozen well on one side of the lake, like what the fuck? But like bones and carcasses, long like covered in ice from past hunts, trophies immortalized as living ice sculptures. And then they walk across the frozen lake, wondering where's the dragon. And they see movement from under their feet, thinking it's above them when it's below. The ice starts to crack as everything starts to shake and heave up as the surface of the frozen lake shatters. Enters White Maw. The roar that sends half the party running. The other party stills their nerves. What you got?
Comes out of the water, finishes the part. I mean, oh man, that's what happened. You shit your pants.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. He's gonna go with the water, and I like to do the snow. It's took over this ancient, kingdom.
Well, I feel
Deep
like
down
a
inside
dynamic
of it.
battlefield where you're on
Yes.
pieces of ice that float around, and you're having to move from piece
Gotcha.
to piece.
And I'm thinking of like a city layout where this dragon has took it over an ancient city that's there no more. Where the temple where the king used to be is where the dragon's lair is. Frozen, maybe. You got frost giants here too, same as on
And it
top.
does have spider climbing for ice.
It does. And when they fight it, it would almost be like a big monster movie, like JVD would love, like a Godzilla type movie. This dragon would lunge around on these buildings and creep across and jump at the party and land in the snow.
So what you're saying, you're being heroic where I'm being sword and sorcery. Kill the bitch, get his gold.
Yeah. Just jumping around, using the environment. I think that is his biggest weapons of most dragons that nobody uses. Is the environment. If you're fighting them in their environment, the snow and ice, they're slipping around. They
Not
can't.
in their environment.
I know you are. But I'm talking about like
you shit, man.
this is a frozen type. You're sliding around. There's snow going everywhere. You can't see. This thing is frightful. You hear its roar. I mean, just
If you're going through a city,
yes. You take.
have it flying around up until
Yeah.
the climax.
I was thinking to have like you would hear like
Making the city now over him and have it like kobolds.
like if the Hulk jumped up and landed on something, the noise it would make.
Yeah.
They hear that and they can't see it, and then it leaps up and flies, and then they
Yeah.
see the shadow.
The thing about this, if it's an ancient city that it took over, give it like half dragons and kobolds that wanted the city that worship it as its progenitor.
I love it. Wow. So
Do you have like remoras, like those like ice worms that swallowed Vesper, like just in chains that it literally keeps around as pets.
okay, this is a very dangerous encounter.
This gives it a whole menagerie within like several caverns, or it's just yetis and all kinds of
It's
things.
nastiness. If you think about all the stuff that me and Smiley put together, you know why I like him on these videos. He can bring a lot of energy and storytelling, and with our knowledges together, hopefully we're giving you guys a good look on how to use these monsters. That is our #1 goal. This will be our 3rd video in our installment, and more to come next week. Look forward to the hag, one of Smiley's favorite creatures, or monsters, or not.